How's it going, guys? Welcome to the channel. You know, 25 years ago, if someone told me I would be telling a bunch of strangers on the internet about Perfect Dark, I wouldn't have believed you. Seeing as Xbox has closed down multiple studios recently, one of them being The Initiative, the studio working on the Perfect Dark reboot alongside Crystal Dynamics. The footage I'll be using will be from the Xbox Live Arcade version of the game, which is visually better to look at than the N64 release. Unbeknownst to me, when starting this review, there is now a PC port of the game which can run up to 165 frames per second. As always, if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. Without much further ado, let's get into it. Perfect Dark was originally released on the N64 in 2000, serving as the spiritual successor to GoldenEye. Set in the then futuristic year of 2023, taking inspiration from Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell, and the X-Files, and despite needing the N64 expansion pack to experience it as the Lord intended, it was a vast improvement on GoldenEye in almost every way. Rare lost the rights to the 007 franchise to EA, which ended up working out for Rare as they wanted to include more sci-fi elements in their follow-up game and have a female protagonist, which game director Martin Hollis, and I dare say Rare by extension, somehow felt that they were underrepresented. Doesn't matter, this game smacks even today. Immediately when booted up, we're introduced to a whole new world as we see the character in glider flying through a sci-fi cityscape as Joe and we the player are being briefed on the mission to rescue a Dr. Carroll from the shady business conglomerate Datadyne. Assuming most people jump straight into the campaign, we notice a few gameplay elements that have been improved on since GoldenEye. Fully voiced characters and animated cutscenes, glaring lights that can be shot out, this time actually affecting the level's lighting. The game can tell the difference between knocking out NPCs and killing them, as one of the objectives requires you to knock out Cassandra DeVries for her necklace key. Secondary fire modes for weapons including the ability to disarm enemies while using unarmed. Enemies can directly communicate with each other and even strategize to a degree. Like the GoldenEye mission structure, every mission can be played on 3 difficulties that offer tougher enemies, more objectives, and on a couple of cases, change how the missions are played out completely. Such as the Carrington Villa mission where on Agent and Special Agent you start the mission with a sniper rifle and have to save the negotiator from certain death. On Perfect Agent you are the negotiator. This by itself adds a ton of replay value. Like GoldenEye, the average person would play through the game on Agent, then Secret Agent, then Perfect Agent. And if you're a freak like me, you'll likely do the rest of your playthroughs on Perfect Dark difficulty. Like the 007 difficulty on GoldenEye, Perfect Dark difficulty lets you change the enemy's health, accuracy, and damage output. Later in the game we're introduced to 2 alien races that are at war with each other, and we're allied with the Mayans, which are the little grey aliens with big heads that we all associate with extraterrestrial life. The other race, which are the Skedar, they're the weird lizard looking things that have been able to disguise themselves as the blonde blokes. They give off an Ivan Drago vibe.
I must break you.
You know, that alien and uncomfortable aura he has?
How does it feel to spar with the great former champion?
The man's tongue didn't come through customs.
When fighting the Skedar in the Mr. Blonde disguises, yes, that's what they're referred to in game, they're just a tough human enemy at best. But when they're undisguised, they're a lot tougher and more aggressive, especially when they're unarmed or have the Mauler, which is their sidearm. By today's standards, the story is short but still decent. The dialogue is easily the weakest point of it, but when the game was released, the story, dialogue, and any underlying message took a backseat to gameplay. The story follows Joanna Dark through a sci-fi futuristic setting in a world of corporate espionage and aliens conspiracies, cover-ups, and interstellar wars. The start of the game highlights the feud between the Carrington Institute and Datadyne. The later half of the game has you taking part in an interstellar conflict between the Mayans and the Skedar. While the Carrington Institute is focused on friendly contact between humans and Mayans, Datadyne have partnered up with the Skedar for power and domination. The story can basically be summed up as Joanna works for the Carrington Institute and is sent to extract an AI known only as Dr. Carroll from the shady Datadyne Corporation. After a minor hiccup, she soon uncovers a much bigger conspiracy, a plot to assassinate the US president, hijack a research vessel, and misuse an alien superweapon that is hidden in the Pacific Ocean. Along the way, we come across the shape-shifting alien who goes by the alias Mr. Blonde, who is in league with the corrupt NSA director Trent. Joe then recovers Dr. Carroll's AI backup. With help from fellow agent Jonathan, Joe infiltrates Area 51, rescues the grey alien Elvis, and then escapes. After that, Joe and Elvis save the president. Then, the Pelagic 2, which is the research vessel, leads her to a submerged alien ship, and eventually an all-out war against the Scatter ensues. After a final assault on their homeworld, Joanna destroys the threat and saves Earth. Like the campaign, the multiplayer is a surprisingly vast improvement on what we got with GoldenEye. Classic levels come back, like Temple, Complex, and Facility. There's a host of new maps too, but my personal favourite would actually be Scatter. Now, I haven't played the multiplayer as an actual multiplayer in years. The multiplayer does have a vast array of levels, characters, outfits, weapons, and weapon sets, including a custom weapon set for the level. This was way before custom loadouts were a thing, so you had to actually go around the level and pick up your guns.
Which was the style at the time.
Even now, if you can manage to get your mates together for a match, it would still be awesome. No one to play with? No problem. Perfect Dark has the option to put Sims in the game as well. I don't know for sure, but apparently you can have 4 regular players and Sims running around at the same time. Can you imagine? Every Sim can have a different AI personality tied to it, changing up how it approaches a match, further allowing more replayability. When the reboot was announced in December of 2020, I was initially excited for what could have come. I will admit I was pretty let down when I discovered that yet again, development of another Perfect Dark game was cancelled. What may surprise you is that I only saw the gameplay trailer right before Xbox announced they were shutting down the Initiative, which is the studio developing the game in conjunction with Crystal Dynamics. Personally, I thought the gameplay looked good enough to follow through with the project, despite the fact I disagree with Joe working for Datadyne, at least at the start of the game. I'm sure there may have been a good enough reason for her to switch allegiances, but I feel that it would be a contradiction of her character, seeing as she doesn't even consider Cassandra's offer to join Datadyne in the original game, and in the prequel she wasn't immediately won over by Carrington either. When researching what other people have done and said, I stumbled upon a video by N64 Glenn Plant. At the end of the video, he asked what people would do to bring back Perfect Dark for the modern age. Boy, do I have an answer for you. Firstly, un-MJ her face. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I would literally go for the remake approach that Resident Evil, Dead Space, and now Metal Gear are doing. Obviously, you would tighten up the dialogue and update the controls. I would also put in stealth mechanics that are a little bit less brain dead than Far Cry games, but still fair. Add more levels, add more movement controls like the parkour we saw in the Reboot trailer, and possibly have different options for navigating the levels like many games that have come since. I would also add a reflex mode like in Metal Gear Solid 5, and stealth takedowns. Add upgradable skills like a skill tree and add more guns. There are only 43 in Perfect Dark, so the more the merrier, if they fit. While we're on it, pre-mission loadout selection like what we saw in Black Ops 2. Add a couple more bonus levels and campaign cheats to play around with. For the multiplayer, I'd have the same maps, plus more. Why not? Local and online multiplayer with classic playlists for that traditional arena style gameplay, and modern playlists with loadouts and all the bells and whistles like perks. Different game modes for both, progression system, challenges, bonus unlockables, possibly a store for weapon and character skins. And lastly, a challenge mode like Spec Ops in the OG Modern Warfare 2, and possibly the survival mode from Modern Warfare 3.
You know, James, I was always better.
When Perfect Dark was initially released, it received universal praise across the board, and it's not hard to see why. Having played the Xbox Live Arcade port most recently, I can tell you that it plays really well, even compared to the original version, which can still stutter from time to time. The main issue I have with the game would be the auto aim is not really consistent, especially at long distances, and sometimes the enemies, the Scatter in particular, either don't seem to take consistent damage, or the damage they take isn't registered properly. All in all, if you haven't played this gem, it is available on Game Pass Ultimate for Xbox One, Series X and S. There is also a PC port, which like I said, I didn't know about until I started this review, which I'll link in the description. If you stayed this long, please consider dropping a like, leaving a comment and subscribing, as it helps the channel out a lot. I do all this stuff myself and upload as often as I can. Thanks heaps, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.
Good night, Miss Dark.